How are you, good people? My name is Hadi. So this presentation or demo is about our invoice and quotation system, and we call it Acxel. Acxel from the word acceleration, meaning to say this system helps you to accelerate your accounting and operations. When we developed this system, we had SMEs in mind, because we know the hurdles that they have whenever they have been requested to send a receipt or an invoice or a quotation. So that's the reason why we decided to develop this system. So let's just dive into the system and see how it works. So since this is a web-based system, obviously we need to log in. So we're going to be using a live account. So this is actually one of our clients who uses our system. So we're going to we've asked for their permission to use their account so that it makes sense. We have permission to view the things that are in the system. So let's log in. So the first thing, this is the first screen that you see when you log on to the Acxel accounting system. So this is just giving you statistics. So you've got 21 invoices that we have generated, we've got 209 products, we've got 98 quotations, and we've got a database of 108 clients. So this is the first screen that it takes you. So after the first screen, the second thing that we want to talk about is the settings. This option is very important, and I need you to pay attention to it. All right. So the Acxel system, it has got different settings. This is where you configure your company account, so that whatever that comes out of your invoice or your quotation is configured here. As you can see, this is where we put our logo and the company name. If we've got our VAT number, vendor number, and BPN, all this information, we then put it here, so that when the system will then generate an invoice and by getting the details from the settings. So everything will then be configured from what you will have saved. So as you can see, it's also showing you the bank accounts. For, let's say we've got quite a number of bank accounts, you can then configure them here. If you click here on new bank, to then say bank name, account number, branch, and currency. The reason why we have currency is because especially in Zimbabwe, where we've got a multi-currency, where it's a multi-currency system, we've got RTGS, we've got Nostro. So you configure all that here. So this is the settings. This is the settings part, where you configure all the information about your company. So we are using a live account, and this company is called Acxel Auto Board and Panel Beating and Spray Painting. It's one of our clients that use our system, and we have asked for their permission so that we can do a demo, so that it makes sense with a company that actually is running on our Acxel accounting system. So we are now moving on to products and services. This is very critical, because this is what enables us and what enables Acxel to be a very effective and efficient system, because everything that you use on your invoice or quotation will be pre-configured on the system. So meaning to say, whenever you are creating your invoice or quotation, you don't have to write all the items that are required on the invoice. You can just then pick them from your database, because you will have already saved them. So in this case, we are using an account. We are using an account of auto body and spray painting company. So as you can see, the products that they have, they are more of auto body, related to auto body and spray painting, as you can see. But for this case, let's create our own products. We do that by creating new, and to then ask you for the product name. In this case, we want to call this product demo product 1, and then our description we can then say test product, and then this option now asks you for the price. And the reason why we have put this price is so that our system becomes fast when you are creating your invoice, because you'll have already pre-configured your product to have a price. So in this case, let's put our price to $300, and then there's also a sale price. Let's say if we've got here a sale price, you want to put that on your invoice, that this is a discounted price that we have put for you. You can then also show it here. You can then maybe put a 250 there. Since this is a product, we are going to leave the service option unmarked. So from there, we can then just add our product. As you can see, we've got a green notification bar that's showing us our product has been added successfully. As we can see, let's search for the product that we have added. It's demo product 1. Yeah, as you can see, it's already showing demo product 1. The description is test product, and the price, as we have put it, 300. As you can see, type is actually saying that it's a product. So we also want to add a service. In this case, we are going to say test service, and then we're just going to say, maybe let's say test service 1, and then our product description will be test service 2, and then we are going to put, maybe let's put it at 150, and then we are going to signify that this is a service, as you can see. And then we just click add product. All right, the product will have been saved successfully. So if we search for the service that we have just added, as you can see, it's actually showing us that we now have a service 1, and our price is 150, and the type of the product is a service, as you can see. So that is the bit on adding the products and services. So catch you in the next segment. So one of the things I like about Acxel is it enables you to save all your client details into the database, meaning to say you can have all your client details saved in your database, and then this saves you time. Whenever you are creating an invoice or quotation for them, you can then just pick a client from the database, and then it will then automatically put the client's details onto the invoice. So let's get into this segment where we talk about the client module on the Acxel system. So let's dive into it. So first and foremost, this shows you all the clients that are in your database. You can then arrange them. If you want to view all of them, you can then just click there. It will then view all of the clients, and then we are now moving on to creating a new client. So then you can just click that blue button. Let's click the blue button, and then it will then give you a prompt where you add a new client. So in this case, we want to create a demo client, demo client 2. Let's have a demo client 2, and then their address, we're just going to say demo address for the sake of our presentation, and then mobile, and then just put a mobile, and then this can be your BPN, your VAT number. So after that, we can then just click on add a client, and then that client will be added successfully into the database. So as you can see, the client has been saved successfully. So let's look for the client in the database, demo client 2, demo client 2. So as you can see, we've got our demo client 2 over there with all their details. So below we've got options to edit the client details or even delete them. But in this case, we still want to use the client that we've added into our system. So we can even arrange by client name, arrange by email, arrange by mobile, arrange by address, depending on what you want to arrange them by. All right. So once we've added them, the next segment will be then creating an actual invoice using the client that we have added. So we are now moving to the most exciting and interesting feature of the system, which is the invoicing and the quotation module. I know a lot of you might find this feature quite useful since you're going to be using it more often. So let's move to it. Okay, so for us to create an invoice, you still remember that we already created our product, we have already entered our client into the system. So we're just going to create a new invoice. Let's just click okay. So you're going to select the customer that we have added into the system. If you still remember, we created demo client 2. All right, so the invoice are going to be retrieved from the server, from their database rather, and then they are going to be put on your invoice automatically, so that it saves you time. Imagine if you had to do it manually, you had to write all those details about the client. So now we move on to where it asks you for the date. So by default, our system will display the current date. That's the one that will be highlighted. So we're just going to use that since today is the 22nd of March. Let's select that. And then we are moving on to the invoice date, and then we're just going to select that. And then so this the invoice date, this is like the due date. Let's say if your invoice has got an expired, so you select that. Let's say our invoice expires on Monday the 27th of March. Let's select that. Right. Then we are moving on to the discount part. I also like this feature because let's say you want to give a discount to a client. You don't have to do it manually. You can then just input that discount. Let's say we want to give our client a 10% discount. Let's go ahead and do so. So we have put a 10% discount. Then we are now moving on to the bank selection option. Okay, all right. So let me explain something here. All right. So we have added this part so that at least this is what actually defines the nature of the invoice in terms of currency. So if you still remember, when we were configuring the settings, there was an option where we could add our bank accounts. So in this case, we have got two bank accounts, one which is an RTGS and one which is a US dollar, which is written nostril there, if you can see. So the one that doesn't have the nostril is the RTGS. So you can configure the way you want. You can even write in brackets RTGS, or you can write the way you want it. So in this case, let's select the non-nostril account, which is the RTGS. So additional notes, these are the remarks that will be put on the invoice, or the terms and conditions. Let's say maybe you want to put your term conditions like 50% deposit is required, 50% deposit required, and balance on completion. That would be our terms and conditions. Those are like our remarks for the invoice. Then we can just click generate create an invoice. As you can see, that was fast. So it will then bring all those things that we inputting, and it will then format it to an invoice setup. So as you can see, our invoice is still blank, and it's showing the where the invoice will be sent. As you can see, it's showing demo client and demo address, what we have already put in into the system. And then our invoice is still blank, and it's showing our logo. So now we want to add items, products and services onto our invoice. So we just click that green button, and then we press that blue plus sign. All right, so it has brought this prompt. So if you still remember, we also added a demo product for the sake of our presentation. So we're just going to use what we've added already. So if you still remember, we've got our demo product 1. All right, so it's also showing price. The reason why we have put that, we have put price, is because there are scenarios whereby you've got different prices for different clients. Let's say the same product, you're going to give it a different price when you're dealing with a different price, different client rather. So what you can do is, so this will then, if you change this from a 0, what will then happen is it will then override the price that you have configured in the system already. So in this case, we don't want to do that. We just want to maintain the price that we have configured in our system. So let's leave that. We want to put this our quantity as, we want 5 items that we want to add on to our invoice. Then we just click add, and that has been added successfully. As you can see, if you still remember, when we added our product into the system, our price was 300, and it has just brought it the same way that we have added it into the system. So as you can see, it has done the calculations for you, and it has put that product onto the invoice. As you can see, we've got demo product, which has got a quantity of 5, and 5 times 300, which is 1,500. If you still remember, when we were configuring our invoice, we gave our client a 10% discount. That is the 10% that has been shown there, and 10% of 1,500, that's 150. So if you subtract 150 from 1.5, we get 1,350. So let's add another product to see how it will come out. So if you still remember, you just scroll, and then the blue, okay, and then we select another product. In this instance, we want to, maybe let's just pick another existing product that is in the system already. Aircon pump replace, and then we just leave the price as it is, and then maybe put a quantity of 4. and then we add that product onto our quotation. As you can see, we now have 4 items of aircon pump replace. Then that the total is giving us a 700, and the subtotal will be 2.2, and our 10% will be 220, as you can see. The other features that we have is when you are adding elements to the invoice, you can also create a new product straight from the prompt. Let's say the product that you want to add onto the invoice is not yet there in the system. You can then just come here and create it there from this prompt. If it's already there in the system, you can just uncheck that and then select the product. Okay, so in this case, we want to cancel. So this is how invoice will look like. Okay, so straight after this, we can then just, if we are now satisfied with our invoice, we can then send it via WhatsApp. We can even print it, we can even download it, we can send it via email. For now, let's start with sending the invoice via email. So we can just click on email, and it will then give us this prompt that will enable us to put the recipient. In this case, we're going to put a recipient where the email is going. Then we're just going to put a subject which says invoice, and then we're just going to say please find attached invoice. And then maybe let's just start with a hi, good day, comma, please find attached invoice. Okay, and then we can then send. So automatically it will send both this custom email, and then it will attach your invoice as well. So as you can see how fast it is. It has already sent the email to the customer. So now you can actually do your follow-up to say, I have sent you your invoice with the things that you requested me to put onto the invoice. So as you can see again, our terms and conditions are appearing on our invoice. Our letterhead is appearing on the invoice, and it is actually showing us the invoice date and the due date. It is showing us the invoice number, and it's also showing us where our payments can be made into, which is showing us our bank account. If you still remember, we selected an RTGS account, so it has also put that RTGS account just to show that this invoice is an RTGS invoice. So you can also, the other things that you can also do is you can also download the maybe you want to download the invoice into your phone. You can also do that. I have also it's giving me the prompt for me to download again, because I've in the previous videos I've also been downloading others. That's why it's saying I should download the file again. Anyway, let me just download it and then show you how it will look like. I'm sure it's downloading in the background. Okay, so you can download, you can print, you can send via email, you can even make amendments to the invoice. Let's say you want to add more stuff to it, you can still do so. Okay, all right, so okay, let me just do let me download it again. I don't know what happened there. Just make sure that you can see the downloaded, how it will come out. Yeah, now it's downloading. So let me check for the download so that we can see how our invoice will come out. Boom, as you can see. So this is now giving us more information about the invoice. As you can see, the letterhead is there. we've got demo product 1 with a quantity of 5 and the price, and we've got an aircon pump replace with a quantity of 4. So everything has been calculated automatically. So you see how simple it is for you to work with Acxel, for you to get your desired results. This is very fast. If I was not doing any explanations, or if this was not a demo, I would have done this invoice in less than 2 minutes. So this is a very handy tool that we can use, and the same way you create an invoice is the same way you can also create a quotation. So this is a very good system that you can use, especially if you are on the go. Maybe you are driving, you can just park your car and then you create your invoice, you create your quotation, you create your receipt. So it's a very good tool to use for your business. Thank you very much. We are now moving on to another interesting feature that is in Acxel. It's receipts. A lot of business owners, they struggle with issuing receipts, and we have solved that by creating this module that enables them to create receipts effortlessly. So you can, if you come here, if you want to create a new receipt, you can then come here and then you select your client. We want to create demo. Let's look for a demo client, the one that we are using for the sake of our presentations. So in this case, it will then ask you the mode of payment that they've done. In this case, it is a cash receipt, and then receipt date. It will then allow you to specify the date of the receipt, and then you can put the additional notes, and from there you can just say test on additional notes. Then you can save the detail. So as you can see, we now have our receipt has already been generated, so we can also download it, we can also print it, we can also send it to the client. You can just put their details, the client's details, and the email. You can then just say on the subject, you can then just say test receipt, test receipt, and then you can then just say find attached, and then you will then just send that email with your receipt. So it will then just attach that receipt together with your email. That was fast, and then the receipt will then be sent to the client. One other feature I also like, there are many features that I like about this system. That is the reason why I'm talking about them, and I get so excited when I present them to you. So the other thing that I like, if you go under receipts, let's go back to the receipts. Let's say you issued an invoice to a client. And you want to convert that invoice to a receipt. So you can then just come here, and then you pick the invoice, and you select that, and then from there you can then just, with a one-click button, you can then just create a receipt out of that. How cool is that? That is very interesting. So meaning to say, your receipt will just be generated in less than can we say 5 seconds, or let's just say 3 seconds. So this is a very interesting feature which saves you tons and tons of time, because it's a one-click conversion of an invoice to a receipt.